What if the energy performance of buildings was measurable and visible and actionable? Well, in the United States, thanks to the Energy Star Buildings program, that information is available. And it's resulting in a reduction in greenhouse gas emissions by creating a market for energy efficient commercial buildings. Hi, I'm Bob Sauchelli, a former program manager with the US EPA Energy Star Buildings program. And I'd like to tell you about this guide, Creating a Market for Energy Efficient Commercial Buildings. It explains how governments can reduce carbon emissions by adopting some of the Energy Star Buildings program elements. Did you know that commercial buildings are responsible for about 16% of all greenhouse gas emissions? And in cities like New York, that amounts to about 70% of all greenhouse gas emissions. The good news is that energy consumption of these buildings can be reduced by about 1/3 by adopting energy efficient technologies and management practices. And furthermore, energy efficiency is the cheapest form of new energy production. It's cheaper than coal, it's cheaper than wind, and it's cheaper than solar. So when transitioning to a new renewable energy economy, why create renewable energy that's only going to be wasted in inefficient buildings? In 1999, the US EPA established the Energy Star Buildings program with the goal of reducing greenhouse gas emissions by providing information about building energy performance and not regulations. That information helped to create a market for energy efficient buildings. What is a market for energy efficient buildings? Well, it's a market that understands building energy performance. It recognizes high performance buildings and recognizes their value attributes. In order to help develop a market for energy efficient commercial buildings, the Energy Star program had developed 3 program elements. The first was an online tool to measure and track the actual energy use of buildings. The second program element was to develop a scoring system so that buildings could be rated on their energy efficiency and compared one to the other. And thirdly, the Energy Star program developed the Energy Star certification in order to recognize high-performing energy-efficient buildings. So often we hear that to reduce greenhouse gas emissions is going to put the brakes on our economy, that it's going to slow down the economy. And the fact is, when you look at it from the perspective of building owners and occupants, energy efficiency in buildings creates economic growth. It saves money and creates jobs and also enhances electric grid reliability. Just think about it for a minute. How many products could be manufactured to put in all these buildings in places like New York City? How many jobs would be created for consultants and engineers and technicians to install those products in all these buildings? How much better these buildings are going to be, how much more competitive they're going to be, how much more profitable they're going to be, and how much more valuable they're going to be. And don't forget to think about all the emissions we're going to save by making these buildings energy efficient. If your government has made a commitment to addressing climate change, creating a market for energy efficient commercial buildings can help to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by adopting the market influencing strategies of the US Energy Star Buildings program. By the end of 2015, over 450,000 buildings had rated their energy performance using Energy Star tools. And 28,000 of those buildings had earned the Energy Star certification for excellence in energy efficiency. And just the energy saved alone by those 28,000 buildings was enough to power 2.3 million American homes. You can download the guide, Creating a Market for Energy Efficient Buildings, at eebuildings.com. See if it can help you.